If you're here, then you're probably wondering, what on earth is a Book of Shadows and why do I need one? Don't worry, I've got your back. Today, we'll break it down in the simplest, most witchy way possible. We'll dive into the history, how to start one, and what you might want to include, without making it feel like homework. So grab your favourite herbal tea, or perhaps something stronger, and let's get started! Let's start at the very beginning. What even is a Book of Shadows? In its simplest form, a Book of Shadows is a personal journal for witches to record their spells, rituals, research, dreams, and magical experiences. Think of it as your magical diary, except instead of teenage angst, you're tracking moon phases and potion recipes. Historically, the term Book of Shadows was popularised by Gerald Gardner, the father of modern Wicca, in the 1950s. However, witches have been recording their magical knowledge in various forms for centuries. Medieval grimoires, for example, served a similar purpose, holding spells, incantations, and alchemical formulas. Scholar Owen Davies, in Grimoires, A History of Magic Books, explains how these ancient texts were often passed down through families or secretly kept by cunning folk. So, why bother with a Book of Shadows? Well, it's a personal and practical tool. It's where you keep all your magical knowledge in one place, like your witchy filing cabinet. Need to remember that full moon ritual you did 2 years ago? It's in your Book of Shadows. Want to record the results of your last tarot spread? Your Book of Shadows will come to the rescue. But there's another reason witches keep one. It's a way to track your personal growth. Witches believe in constant learning and evolving, and your Book of Shadows shows you how far you've come. In the Spiral Dance, Starhawk talks about the importance of reflection in a witch's practice. The process of documenting our magic allows us to witness our own transformation. Here's the first rule of the Book of Shadows. There are no rules. Seriously, your Book of Shadows is for you and you alone. It doesn't have to be a leather-bound, ancient tome that looks like it came from the Hogwarts library. It can even be a scrappy notebook or a digital file that you can keep at hand on your phone. Some witches decorate theirs with dried herbs, moon drawings, or intricate sigils. Others go full minimalist. You might even take inspiration from Charmed, where their Book of Shadows was a gorgeously illustrated compendium of spells with a fair share of demon-busting entries. But don't feel like yours has to look like that. It can be whatever you want. Now, let's talk about what you might want to jot down in your Book of Shadows. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but these are a few things many witches find helpful to include. Spells and rituals. This is probably the most common thing witches put in their Book of Shadows. Write down the spells you perform, the ingredients you use, and the results. Over time, you'll see what works best for you. Herbs, crystals, and correspondences. Many witches keep lists of herbs and crystals along with their magical properties. For example, rosemary for protection, amethyst for clarity, and so on. Astrological notes. Track the moon phases, planetary movements, or even your astrological chart. Some spells are believed to be more potent at certain times of the day or the month, so keeping a log can help you plan. Deity work. If you work with specific deities, write down your experiences with them. What offerings do they prefer? What signs do they send you? Dreams and meditations. Many witches record their dreams or meditative journeys in their Book of Shadows, especially if they think their dreams are trying to tell them something magical. I'm tempted to do this because my dreams have been rather insane recently. Divination results. Track your tarot readings, runes, or other divination tools. Keeping a record can help you spot patterns or see how your intuition is developing over time. As Scott Cunningham mentions in Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner, your Book of Shadows is not only a diary of spells, but a mirror for your soul's journey. It's a blend of practical and spiritual, just like witchcraft itself. While witchcraft is becoming more accepted in modern times, it's still a good idea to consider privacy when it comes to your Book of Shadows. After all, this is a deeply personal record of your magical work. Some witches treat theirs as sacred, keeping it hidden away or blessing it with protective spells. Others are more casual, leaving it on their desk. The choice is yours. In times past, especially during the witch trials of Europe and America, having a book like this could land you in some serious trouble. Though we're thankfully no longer in those times, it's worth remembering that witchcraft has always had an air of secrecy. Historian Ronald Hutton reminds us in The Witch, A History of Fear, from ancient times to the present, that witches often operated in the shadows. So, a book of shadows feels pretty apt. Finally, a big piece of advice: don't stress or think too much about your book of shadows. It's easy to feel like it needs to be perfect, but magic is a process, not a destination. If you miss a spell, forget to write down your tarot spread, or spill coffee all over your pages. Yes, I've been there myself. It's fine. The most important thing is to enjoy the process of documenting your magical journey. And if you mess up, well, that's just adding a little chaos magic to your practice. As Ray Buckland, author of Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, writes, there is no wrong way to keep a book of shadows. Its form and content are as unique as the witch who writes it. So make mistakes, experiment, and let it evolve with you. Whether you're a neat and organised witch with immaculate penmanship, or a messy, chaotic gremlin like me, your book of shadows is yours and yours alone. If you're just getting started, don't worry about making it perfect. Just get something down on paper or screen and watch how it grows over time. Want to know more about what herbs to use for sew-in and how to use them? Check out this video here.